In this unit, we focused on critical thinking skills. We mentioned in earlier units that university will be quite different from high school, especially because of the expectation that you will be more independent and will think for yourself at university. Before we talk about what thinking skills are in detail, let's consider why thinking skills are so important at university. To study effectively at university, you must not only learn new information, but also learn how to think about and form an opinion about new information and ideas. Also, you must ask questions, look at alternatives, recognize different points of view, and create your own ideas. In an earlier video, you've heard Zayed University professors talking about critical thinking skills. This way of thinking goes beyond finding information and remembering it. It means doing more challenging things with the information that you find. Let me introduce you to Bloom's different levels and types of thinking. In 1956, Bloom developed this classification of thinking skills, which is still helpful today as it's a very useful way of looking at learning. Bloom talks about 6 levels of thinking skills listed in order of difficulty. At the lowest level, we have remembering. This is the first and the most basic thinking skill. At this level, you name, describe, list, or write about the information that you find. The next level is understanding. Here, what is important is not only remembering the information, but explaining and discussing it. The third level of thinking is applying. Applying information means, can you use it in a new way? Can you solve problems by using the new information? With analyzing, we're moving into higher thinking skills. When you analyze information, you can tell between the different parts, you can compare and find out about the differences and similarities between ideas and things. You also discover more details about something by asking questions. Evaluating is the second highest thinking skill. At this level, you will be expected to make decisions and form an opinion about information or other people's ideas. You may also rate things by looking at their qualities and recommend alternatives or changes to make something better. The highest level of thinking is creating. When you create, you imagine and design a new thing or come up with a completely new point of view. You may also plan ways of solving a problem. Now that you've heard about the different levels of thinking, you can easily see the main differences in thinking between high school and university. At high school, you've probably had a lot of experience with the lower levels, and most of the thinking was about reading and remembering facts, or listening to the teacher in class and remembering that information later. At university, however, you will be expected to go beyond just remembering and describing information. You need to develop and use the higher level thinking skills like analyzing and evaluating as well. Therefore, when doing your assignments, be aware that you may be expected to use a combination of thinking skills. So it's important for you to carefully check the verbs used in the assignment instructions, ask questions, and really understand what is expected of you. Finally, let me explain the different types of thinking by giving an example for you. Let's say you have an assignment about Snapchat. At the lowest level, a question you may get might be, what is Snapchat? As at this level, all we are interested in is for you to remember the information. At the understanding level, the question might be, what do people use Snapchat for? So you need to explain the function of the app. If the professor wants you to apply the information, he or she may ask you to write a manual for people who have never used Snapchat before. To answer this question, you need to know what Snapchat is and be aware of all of its functions so that you can teach someone else to use it. Analyzing may require you to compare Snapchat to other chat apps, so you have to think of similarities and differences between different apps. At the evaluation level, first you need to have an opinion of Snapchat and be aware of its positive and negative points. Depending on the negatives, you may be asked to suggest ways of making Snapchat better. An assignment that requires the highest level of thinking would be creating, where you're asked to design a new app which includes all the positive qualities of Snapchat and WhatsApp. Now we've covered all this. Are you ready to do a similar exercise yourself?